What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode.
Facts.
Today we'll be chatting about the Shane Gillis Beautiful Dogs comedy special. Is that what they're
Yeah,
called? Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. So thank you so much for joining us,
hmm
and we will kind of just get right into it.
Facts, yeah. So, kind of coming off of the back of our tires episode, we kind of noticed that Shane Gillis had a stand-up performance that he did via a Netflix special on the on the same app. So we decided to check it out. We figured he
Yes.
was funny in the show, and so we wanted to see a little bit of what his own comedy was like and how he was like as an individual comic. So
Yeah, so we
yeah.
kind of knew it was going to go one way or another. We were
Yeah.
either going to be like, all right, yeah, this guy, he's funny. We
Yeah.
like him, whatever. Or it was going to be like, oh, this
Yeah.
guy is kind of,
Right. Yeah, exactly how he looks. Right. Yeah,
yeah.
which he joked about in
He
his
did, he
comedy
did.
special. And yeah, I think overall, yeah, we know he's funny. We know he's a funny like character in Tires.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a pretty funny stand-up comedian as well. I'm not sure what role the stand-up. I don't know which one came first, the cart or the horse in this situation,
Mm,
but yeah, it's always cool seeing comics do these specials and have these specials. Being given this opportunity via Netflix, because yeah, comedy is so important to just media as a whole. I feel like
true.
a lot of humor, it kind of brings a lightheartedness that, people can digest things a little bit easier, especially when they address like real world things. So,
Yes, which he did do a good bit of. He did do a good bit of like joking about, the political state of the world
yeah,
and
yeah,
certain situations.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, kind of just like chatting about everyday
Facts. I mean,
things
there
where
were moments in this stand up where I was like almost in tears. Like there were some parts where Shane just like he just went absolutely crazy,
yeah,
like just
no,
hysterical.
there were some really funny parts. There definitely were. And there was kind of a mix. It was a mix,
Yeah,
right? It was
yeah,
kind of a mix of like we're dying laughing over here, barely can contain ourselves
yeah,
to like, oh, okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, yeah. That's a good way to like categorize it. Like some moments were hysterical, really had us engaged, really had us funny, like laughing, kind of dying, and then other moments we were just like, come on, man. Like the whole like ex or his
Girlfriend's
girlfriend's ex being
ex,
like the Marine and stuff, and kind of the
the Navy SEAL,
insecurity, yeah,
yeah.
the Navy SEAL and the insecurity that came along with that. I didn't really get that whole segment. That
Yeah.
was a stretch. I know he branched off and took the joke in different ways, but when he looped it back to like the his girlfriend's ex, I was just like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That part was definitely more of a cringy part to me where it was like,
Yeah.
all right, bro, like that's kind of weird. At a certain
Right,
point,
like the
like why are you
obsession with
thinking
it.
about your girlfriend's ex that much, you
Yeah,
know?
definitely. And I feel like he definitely addressed that. He said, it's not something that most people like or want to
I
talk about.
know.
But he, I
He
guess,
said,
yeah,
I love it.
I know,
I know. I
yeah.
was like,
Just
all right.
yeah. That part was a little bit of that like cringy,
Yeah,
like kind of hard to watch. But
definitely.
some of the moments, especially when he was like doing the self-deprecation about his like appearance, and the way he looks, like those moments were
Nah,
hysterical.
I'm
That
sorry when he was like, I dodged it.
Oh God, yeah, because he was he was
Saying
he was yeah, go
no,
ahead.
he was saying he has family members with Down syndrome,
Yeah,
and he was saying about his face. Obviously, he makes a lot of jokes about his appearance, where he
yeah,
does kind of have some qualities that resemble a Down syndrome person. So he was joking that he dodged the
dodged it.
gene,
Yeah,
basically.
crazy. That
So
was
yeah,
hysterical.
that was really
Yeah, he
funny.
definitely did say the R word quite a few times, but
Yes.
he did kind of bring light to the situation of you can kind of gauge how people react to like how close or far they are with someone who actually is special needs. So in his case, like because he has family members who are special needs and is kind of a little bit closer connected to that those sorts of diseases,
Mm-hmm.
he felt more comfortable joking about those things and kind of trying to bring a little bit of light to um, you know
Down
syndrome as a whole. Yeah. So it's like, even though he was joking, even though he was like using the R word multiple times, you know, he had kind of like a bring attention to it, like reasoning behind it.
Yeah, right. Like, it's not something where you have to feel bad for someone because they're Down syndrome.
Right. And that was kind of like his point,
exactly.
as, you know, that people with Down syndrome are people as well. They have their own interests. They have things they like doing. They have their own funny little quirks and stuff. And he was sharing his own experience with his uncle, who is Down syndrome,
and his cousin.
Yeah. So really cool that he was able to share like his own personal experience and work that into his comedy set, because it kind of, again, it makes it easier as an audience to connect to the comic when they're bringing their own real life experiences and things into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then it's not just coming from a theoretical place.
Right.
It's coming from I've lived this.
Exactly.
And like, I can speak about it and joke about it because that is my experience.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that got me going was when he was talking about going to like George Washington's house. And while he was there, he went to the slave quarters, because again, a lot of people like to forget that the founding fathers, who were blabbering on about freedom and freedoms as man and stuff, they owned people.
Yeah.
So just imagine that. You're talking about freedom while you're a slave owner. It is so ironic and so hypocritical. That's why people like me talk shit about George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, because we're not putting on blinders as to who these people were, you know, on a basic level.
Yeah.
We're not just putting on our America blinders and supporting someone blindly. You know, we can look at this person and be like, oh, you owned slaves, you raped children, you know what I'm saying? You were a piece of shit. It's easy for us to say that, despite the fact he was a founding father, right? Like, it's not that hard.
No, it's not at all. And I mean, he kind of also addressed all of those points, going through the waves of like realization for himself of, you know, the different things that George Washington did, having the slave teeth and his dentures, and I'll let you talk more about the slave quarters. But like, then he was talking about, after having gone to the slave quarters, going through the museum where they were like bigging up George Washington, making him sound like an amazing person. And then at the very end, they show his teeth, which was made from the bottom, I guess, half was made from slave teeth.
Yeah.
So
if you can imagine a bottom half of teeth made of other people's teeth, and then the top half of teeth made from horse and donkey teeth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You could smell his breath coming before you saw him. I can tell you that.
Oof. Anyway, so that was like his whole roller coaster that he was joking on, and then coming out of it realizing this guy was a horrible person.
Exactly. And just so funny. And then he was talking about how he went to the slave quarters, and like someone who was reenacting a slave was in there and just started berating him with like facts about white people and slavery and those sorts of things. And then Shane joked that he pulled down his mask and the guy thought he was special needs. Yeah,
he was saying he like made a face to make it look more like he was Down syndrome, to make him feel bad, basically.
But for me, like, again, I like the connection to a real world thing, a real world reality, which is the fact that a lot of Americans have blinders on when it comes to certain historical figures, and can't look at them from a, very, I guess, what's the right word for it? I don't know. I guess just like a baseline. Exactly. They can't look at these people from an objective lens, and be like, wow, a lot of these actions were unacceptable and not okay. And that does and should impact how you view people.
Definitely.
People who have done terrible actions and were terrible people do not get a pass just because they signed a piece of paper. And I think a lot of Americans need to get that through there.
100%. Because, I think people are very keen to forget history or not learn history, and just, again, like you said, put those blinders on and not acknowledge the actual scary truths of history. And I feel like, he did a good job about explaining that. And it's so interesting also how he was talking about, being a history buff is like the first path, like the pathway to becoming a Republican, right?
Yeah.
When it's like that should reasonably do the opposite,
I
but
know.
it's like
He was like, soon as you're starting to get into the World War II documentaries, you're already on the path.
he was making a lot of those jokes as well. Like,
yeah, because again, you know how Shane Gillis looks. We all know how he looks. He looks like the stereotypical conservative white man. And so it is funny that he can joke about those sorts of things, even though he himself maybe doesn't fit the stereotype.
yeah, exactly. So that was definitely funny. That was funny.
Yeah. I mean, the whole like gateway to a Republican thing. Yeah, that was hysterical.
Because do you remember some of the other things he was saying? I forget.
I don't.
Yeah,
No,
but he was just joking about like different things that turn you into a
right.
Republican.
He was like, sometimes I'll be watching TV and then I'll think to myself, why is there a black guy in every commercial? Crazy, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
We know it's true. We know that there are those boomers out there that, you know, get frustrated when they see a mixed family or an interracial family or too many minorities on TV. They're like, oh, they're forcing it on us. And it's just like, no, they're not, boomer.
Just because now everything isn't all white people doesn't mean it's being forced on you.
I know. And also, you know, it's one thing with like the commercials and stuff, but when people try and use that same argument for films and for like social media and stuff, it's like, guys, you are choosing what you're seeing. So if you don't want to see black people on your screen, just don't watch the movie.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see minorities, just don't watch it. Go support all your boring ass basic vanilla films. Go enjoy those, and then we'll all enjoy the other great films that are out there. You know, like the Odyssey that all these conservatives were so upset about because they had minorities. Guys, there were cyclopses like in the story.
I know.
And Greek gods actively in the story. So you were worried about diversity. Why aren't you worried about the creature with one eye? It's just like those are the
least of your
exactly. And then I love that Shane snuck that vote and snuck that joke in there
about the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, he was like, the Little Mermaid is white.
Yes,
I'm 35 years old, and this is the most important thing to me.
When it's just like, who says?
I know, like you guys look crazy for like letting these literal minor things drive you up a wall and grind your gear.
The hill that you will die on.
I know, and like the hill you're willing to vote our country away over. Yeah. It's like, you know, you guys feel like things are being taken away from you, so I'm gonna vote for higher prices and higher oil and for a war, all just to own the libs. Well,
is it worth it?
Enjoy your L.
I know.
Oh man. So yeah, Shane was joking about some of those things.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. And then one of the other ones that he was talking about was when he was in Australia. He was like taking a lot of fashion risks because what was he saying? Because there were like no black people on the island
in some of those places he visited. So essentially, there was no one to keep the white people humble in those locations.
Yeah, so he was taking like fashion risks because he was like, "There's no one here that can look better than me right now."
I know. Yeah. And he said that's the reason that like white people in the NBA in the United States, they see like a black guy dunk in eighth grade and they're like, yeah, you know, good. I'll find something else to do.
I'll focus on computers.
Yeah, but he said only European white guys are arrogant enough to think that they can play in NBA.
Yes, because like he was saying, there's not as much diversity in some countries, like Ireland, Scotland, like those sorts of countries, I guess. So like that's why they're so much more arrogant or like confident, I guess.
Yeah, well, just from what Shane was saying.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to explain.
He was trying to say that white dudes in the United States are the most humble white dudes in the world, which is pretty fun.
I know, funny. It's like yes and no.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we'll have to agree to disagree with Shane on that one. But I can see the scope in which he was trying to come out.
Yeah. What else?
Well, I guess the other thing is just like where he lost us.
Yeah,
He definitely lost me with like the whole like Trump praise.
the
Um,
ending,
yeah,
really
his
not a strong
ending was
ending.
so weak,
So weak.
massively weak ending. I'm not sure like to say that you're excited and like when a deranged old man with most likely dementia is rambling about nonsense and that excites you. I was disappointed in Shane for
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I just feel like, you're fitting your stereotype by the way you look by saying those sorts of things
definitely. Yeah, like just the fact that he was, I mean, it was like a good probably 8 to 10 minutes of him going on about
about
this
Trump. And
speech, like
yeah.
that he was so obsessed with, and
Yeah, and like
quoting it and doing the
yeah, like
voice. And
reenacting
like,
it.
yeah, we
Yeah,
were
we were
like,
just like,
oh,
bro, yeah, that really
that
dropped
was
it
the
down.
end.
That dropped it down a multitude of points for us, like a lot.
Yeah.
Because again, it's this like irony that I find again with Republicans and people like Shane who are maybe somewhere in the middle, but obviously are leaning more Republican. It's just like they love to call out these moments with Biden, but you know what we had under Biden? A stable economy, no war against Iran. We were addressing certain social issues in our country, such as housing, such as infrastructure, which is why Biden put in that infrastructure bill.
Mm-hmm.
On the reverse side of that, for all that mumbo jumbo garbage babbling that Trump does, he delivers nothing.
True.
Prices have gone up. A new war has been started. Oil prices higher than ever. Our infrastructure garbage. They've lowered protections in our food, which has led to multitude of diseases and sicknesses throughout our country. Now, let me ask you, Shane, is that worth the little speech that you were excited about? Is all of these negative things in our country worth your excitement about some deranged old guy blabbering on about nonsense? It's just sad. It's sad that that impresses people.
Yeah.
And I think, it was really, really disappointing that Shane is one of these people that's impressed by this mediocrity and this, sub presidential behavior that our president enacts. And people like Shane are part of the problem because they enable that sort of behavior
Mm-hmm.
by supporting it when we should be dismissing that behavior from politics and from our country as a whole.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the reason we become a laughing stock amongst the rest of the world. So yeah, so for every person like Shane who finds enjoyment in Trump's ramblings, it's really just a sign of low intelligence. Like
Yeah.
that's really all it is. Because if you are listening, you know that there's no content, there's no anything of substance in the
Mm-hmm.
garbage ramblings that the president spews out. So again, it shouldn't take a Harvard educated person to see through the bullshit, but a lot of Americans can't.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here in the second term experiencing the worst economic performance of our GDP. Our national debt is the highest it's ever been, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all of our government is ran by Republicans, all three houses, presidency, Congress, and the Supreme Court, all Republicans. So there's no one to blame but you guys. So again, people who are amused by those ramblings, it's pathetic.
Yeah, truly
It's
is.
pathetic.
Yeah, very well put, Millie. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was kind of the most disappointing part of his whole set, was
Yeah.
just like the 10-minute ramble he went on about the
Praising.
speech,
Yeah.
praising. Yeah, and I mean, for the crowd, you should have booed him off the stage for that.
Yeah, at that point, right.
Cheering
But
for him at the end, you know what?
but I think his crowd, again, his crowd is probably the same demographic in
Yeah,
which he looks like,
that's
right? A
true.
lot of like white people who want to act like they're on the fence and in the middle ground when in reality they're still leaning that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, he started with all of the talking about the girlfriends who were there out of like basically being forced to be there
Yeah.
because their boyfriends wanted to go, and he was like, "Yeah, women hate me," blah blah blah. And we're like,
Yeah.
"Well, now we kind of
Yeah, now we gotta get it. If you're freaking, enjoying speeches from a known Jeffrey Epstein associator, I'm gonna look at you a little differently as well.
Yeah.
And probably not enjoy your comedy as much. And that was something that we had chatted about beforehand that we were a little bit worried about, in watching this special, because we enjoy the show Tires so much. So we were kind of worried that if Shane's special was not good, or he included some stuff predictably about Trump that was positive, it would make us see him differently and impact how we view the show. And yeah,
Tires, yeah.
tires, yeah. And I think we were like teetering right on that edge.
Yeah, because
Right
what
on
would
that
you
edge.
say your overall kind of score, I guess, for this out of 10 would be?
I would say a 6 out of 10, honestly. Like I really appreciated the laughs. I mean, almost being brought to tears. It's serious. Those are tons of laughs, and that's what you want out of a comedy special. But I think, yeah, his last 8 to 10 minutes was super weak, and then the whole insecurity with the girlfriend's ex-boyfriend in the military was also really weak. So for that, I brought it down to a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I do think there were some really good laughs in there. But I just can't ignore, morally, I can't ignore any praise of this president. So
Yeah.
that automatically brought him down at least 4 points. So,
Yeah, for
so
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would
What
say
about you?
probably like a 5.5 to 6. Yeah,
Yeah. So
somewhere.
maybe
So
a
maybe a
five and a
five and a
half.
half.
Yeah. 5.5
Yeah,
average.
kind
Yeah.
of similar. Just like it was funny. Same points as you with like
Yeah.
the X thing was just not really. And then the
Yeah.
Trump praise
Yeah.
also just not really my cup of tea. And then
Yeah.
I also just felt like there were some moments where there were like lulls that he kind of died off a little bit.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely. He was getting some courtesy claps at some
yeah,
points
at
for
some
sure.
points for
And
sure.
also, if you're going to make fun of a president, making fun of the president who literally wears diapers and poops his pants has to be the easiest joke that's just
The
sitting
fruit is so
right there.
low.
It's sitting right there. So I just don't like, nothing about Biden is going to make me laugh. Like, our economy and our country was doing fine under Biden. So again, joking about someone who was running our country adequately is not as funny as joking about someone who's running our country into the shitter while they're shitting their pants. I think that's like a perfect joke. So I'm waiting for the comedic who actually starts bagging on this president who loves to make jokes themselves, but they hate getting jokes thrown back at them.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a comedic actually take that on for once, instead of the even lower hanging fruit, which is just regurgitating Fox News talking points about Biden being sleepy. Meanwhile, Trump's been photographed sleeping way more times than Biden. So again,
Recorded falling asleep in
yeah.
numerous meetings.
So again, that's my point. It's just like, they're going for the regurgitated talking points from Fox News.
Yeah.
It wasn't even funny. It didn't even garnish a giggle from either of us or from the crowd, because everyone was just like, heard that before. What we haven't heard is a song about Donnie Poopy Pants. And I'm telling you, if you want it, I got it.
Yes.
Now that'd be some comedy.
That would be. Yes, please.
But
See?
huh? But yeah, I think overall, Shane Gillis's Netflix special, Beautiful Dogs, on Netflix, it was all right. It had some really good laughs in some moments, some other not so funny moments, some other kind of cringy moments. So our average rating of it was a 5.5 out of 10. Would we recommend the watch? I would say go for it. Just stop watching with 10 minutes left and you will think much higher of it.
Yeah.
Than if you watch it in its entirety. If you cut it off at 10 minutes, you'll enjoy it.
Yes. Very true. Yeah, very much agree with that.
Yeah.
That was the part where we were like, he's lost us indeed.
Yeah, as soon as you hear him bring up that guy's name, just cut it off and you'll think much higher of the special. Trust us.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, very true. So if you made it this far,
Thanks for watching.
and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.